Hello, my name is Diane, but you can call me Dinosaur. Have you ever thought about living as a child forever? Or flying around the world and playing whenever you want? Or wherever you want? Well, there's a boy who is very magical and can play wherever, whenever he wants. Peter Pan. And I have read the book and I would like to share you my book report on it with the title, To Never Grow Up. One of my book reports, actually. Peter Pan is a novel written by James Matthew Barrie in 1902 when children's books thrived all around. Unlike most children's books in the past that told morals in a preachy way, stories written in the early 19th century gave the readers a chance to think of the moral by themselves. Like in Cinderella, Red Riding Hood, Pinocchio, etc., some storybooks had quite obvious morals, whereas in Alice in Wonderland or Peter Pan, there are various morals found by various people. I have heard many different ideas about Peter Pan by many people, and have brainstormed through my own thoughts on it. After a lot of brainstorming, I got an idea that maybe Peter stands for a person who has Alzheimer's. Let me go through a brief summary of the novel and tell you more about my thoughts on it. Peter Pan is a story about a magical boy called Peter Pan, who never grew up. Peter lived in a magical island called Neverland as the leader of the Lost Boys. One day, he meets Wendy and her brothers while the children's parents are away and persuades Wendy to go with him to Neverland. Eventually, she agrees and they all leave to Neverland. There, Wendy takes care of the boys like a mother and goes along several adventures with them. But one day, she discovers that she and her brother had almost forgot about their real mom and dad, and decides to come back. After promising the Lost Boys to take them with her, she asks Peter if he would too. At first, Peter refuses and tries to lock the window to Wendy's nursery. But after seeing Wendy's parents desperately trying to unlock the window for their children, she decides to help them instead. In the end, Wendy, her brothers, and the Lost Boys happily become part of the family. Peter, watching them happily hugging each other, sadly returns to where he believes he belongs, Neverland. Peter Pan was a boy who never grew up. He often lost his memories, forgetting people who we talked to a few minutes ago. This gave me an interesting thought that maybe Peter stands for a person who has Alzheimer's disease, leaving the memory of his childhood. Alzheimer's disease is a debilitating brain disorder that gradually destroys memory and other cognitive abilities, according to Krishna Sutner in TED Ed. It makes you contain your past memory while making you forget recent events, according to a professor of pharmacy in University of Illinois as US. I found this similar with Peter. Peter remembers well about his past, like the story of how he came to live in Neverland and the basic idea about the environment. But he only randomly remembers Wendy or her brothers and sometimes forgets about his adventures that he had only a day ago. Other characters around Peter seem to stand for something too. The Lost Boys, who Peter had led to Neverland, stands for his children. When they were living in Neverland with Peter had been the leader and taught them how to survive there. But when Wendy suggested to leave with her family, they happily agreed and go to somewhere where they can grow up in. The person who has Alzheimer's might have grown the children before the symptoms appeared. He would have taught them basic knowledge needed to survive, like Peter had. By the time his children grew up and became independent, the Alzheimer's disease would begin to appear and his memory of his children would start to disappear. Like how the Lost Boys left Neverland and Peter. But the Lost Boys weren't so upset, because although they were leaving Peter's memory, they were going to a place where they can grow up in. The children were leaving their father's or mother's memory is only a natural process in their growth. Tinker Bell, who Peter was very fond of, having lived with her for a long time, stands for Peter's spouse. When Tink almost died, Peter cried out in grief to save her, and miraculously, she comes back to life. In reality, Tink, Peter's love, would have died, but Peter would have tried to deny the fact and live in a world she exists forever, choosing to lose his Peter's latest memory and live in his happy past forever. It would be the same with people who has Alzheimer's disease. When they lose someone they had loved for so much, they might have want to live in a world where that person exists forever, even if it's not reality. Peter wants to stay the way he is, a child who can do anything he wants to. When reading the book, it seemed like Peter was satisfied with his life. Even if it wasn't real, Peter would have chosen to live there. This made me look at Alzheimer's disease in a different aspect. Maybe Alzheimer's disease might be a gift to some people. The disease we dislike and also hate might be a chance for someone to live in a world that they had loved. Thank you for listening. Bye!
Bye!